Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and the word on the street is that James Gunn was never actually fired. Not fired, just a big ruse by Disney to try to make themselves seem like they were doing something when they actually weren't doing anything at all. Now, some insider sources have stated this specifically, that this is just what it was. He was never fired at all. Other sources have suggested that he was fired, but then they made a deal, a backdoor deal to bring him on, but it for sure seems like that he was back on board long before any of us ever heard about this. Now, other people are just speculating based on the fact that they never actively looked for a replacement for him for Guardians 3, as a sign that he was never actually fired, or that Disney always intended to rehire him, that firing him was just a PR stunt, effectively, to shut people up. Now, this, I'm gonna jump aboard that bandwagon and say I fully support that idea, whether he was actually fired, but they always knew they were gonna bring him back, or whether he was never really fired in the first place. I'm about that idea. It just makes sense, because when you have a movie slated to come out in 2020, which means it had to go into the production, soon, pretty much now-ish, how are you going to get that done on time? How are you going to push that into production, get that movie finished on time, if you don't have a director? So now, obviously, because James Gunn has picked up Suicide Squad 2, and they got to let him finish that project before he jumps on. The release date for Guardians 3 has been bumped back to 2022, but it still leaves that open question if you never looked to replace him. So, did you ever really intend to replace him? No, you did not. I'd say that's fairly conclusive. Now, here's the other really upsetting thing. If you watched my video yesterday, you heard me discuss how I floated the possibility, and I denied that it could possibly be possible. Oh my God, how could this be a thing? That Disney would have chosen to release this news as it coincided with a tragedy that was sweeping the world, that the world was discussing yesterday, that being, of course, the awful attack on the mosques in New Zealand, as a way to pull focus. Okay, well, we don't want too many people talking about this because some people might still be mad about it, so let's just release this news while there's some other way bigger, more important news going on, and no one will know. So now all this sort of is semi-confirmed details about the fact that he was brought back on way before they actually announced it, yesterday, kind of corroborates that. What were you waiting for? Why did you pick yesterday of all days? Nothing else was happening. I mean, we're still in the midst of all the Captain Marvel hype, so it seems like an odd choice to be like, oh, by the way, James Gunn Guardians, and Captain Marvel. It's not like there's any issues with it right now. There's all that PR nonsense with Brie Larson beforehand, but right now, pretty much, Captain Marvel is just coasting along. It's having its nice, easy little box office ride, and no one really cares about it as a film because it didn't really do anything at all. So there's no reason to create any big splash or hubbub right now. There's a lot better times they could release this news in terms of their own personal timeline. So now I'm really doubting Disney as an entity. Now as if I'm just starting to doubt them and their moral values. But and the more I thought of it, the more I'm like, I don't put it past them to do this. I honestly now, I'm gonna say right here, right now, that I believe that Disney utilized a massive tragedy as a way to drop some news out in the world when a lot of people weren't looking. And I think that's a really shitty thing to do. Irrespective of how I feel about James Gunn being fired in the first place or not, or being rehired or whatnot, that's a shitty thing to do. Now, to that point again, as you may or may not remember from my video, I'm not a proponent of firing people over stuff they said 10 years ago. Now, you do an investigation, you find out this guy's actually a pedophile. Okay, obviously. But making statements that are super tasteless is not an indictment. And everyone, there was a lot of confusion when this was happening. People saying, oh, he's tight with this pedophile. A lot of it seemed like he's, a lot of these he's, quoting this person who said these things. A lot of it looked like he was just doing retweet jokes because that was a thing you did back in the day when Twitter looked all different and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, he did go to a pedophilia-themed party, but hey, people have also gone to stupider-themed parties. So there's no actual damning evidence, just a series of bad life choices that made people think certain things. So I don't think people should get fired over stuff they said 10 years ago. I don't think Kevin Hart should have given up the Oscars for stuff he said 10 years ago. I don't think Tucker Carlson should be fired from Fox for stuff he said, 10 years? I don't know how many years ago. Likewise, I mean, the guy, actually one of the big, loudest accusers of Tucker Carlson apparently said way worse things 10 years ago as well. So we're either doing it, it's either all or nothing. It's all or nothing. You can't pick and choose. You can't cherry pick and decide, who gets fired over which words and when and how. You either do it blanket or you don't. And I don't think that those are fireable offenses. Personally, personally. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the point is that what Disney did was sketchy as hell. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. What the way Disney handled it was sketchy as all get out. Like I said, I don't think he should have been fired in the first place, but he was, or so we thought. But this business of we're just going to fire you as a PR stunt to make people happy, that's some shady ass shit. I don't like that. I don't like being dealt like with that. I don't like being lied to. I don't like having the wool pulled over my eyes. I don't like being treated like a moron. So screw you, Disney. I mean, you're really losing a lot. Your credibility is just like nosedive right off a cliff. So look, we're all pretty much in the same boat on that. We're all pretty much concerned about some of Disney's life choices, and this is just another crappy life choice to add to the mix lately. What's going to happen in the future? I don't know. Probably nothing, honestly. I mean, with acquiring Fox News, owning Marvel Studios, owning Star Wars, all this stuff, like, who's going to be able to touch them? I mean, they're well on their way to establishing an entertainment monopoly, which is not supposed to be allowed because antitrust laws and stuff in this country, but whatever, who cares? It's Hollywood. Do whatever you want. Be corrupt, be greedy, be terrible, be awful. No one's going to call you on it. No one's going to check you on it. So is anything going to be done about this? Honestly, probably not. All I can say to that point is support independent film. Go see independent films. Donate money to crowdfunders for independent films. Go to local film festivals and watch independent films. Support independent films, filmmakers making independent films, because that's it. That's the only alternative now. That's the way it is. And that's it. That's all I can say. So if you enjoyed this video, I'll press that like button. That's how we do. Voice your comments below. What do you think about all this? Do you love James Gunn? Do you hate him? Do you love to touch children in special ways? I hope not. If you do, I'm reporting you to the authorities. But anyway, voice your comments, share this video. All the interaction you have with this helps this channel more than you know. If you want to help this channel more, click on that video popping up here, get involved with me. It will tell you more things about this channel, like my Teespring. I got new t-shirts, guys. I got Fifi's t-shirts. The Fifi's are like feelings, only cuter. They're great shirts. You should check them out. Info on my Patreon, my social media, business contacts, all that stuff. So go ahead and check that out, and we'll talk again soon.